The film begins with Lisa enjoying a yacht in Milan, then attending a fashion show with her husband Peter and daughter Abigail. It's clear Lisa is a shoe designer, as the models wear her creations. After the show, they visit the dressing room where Lisa meets the fashion designer and her assistant, Ralph. Abigail tells her father she's leaving to meet her husband George and says goodbye to Lisa. Ralph, a friend of Lisa's, tries to convince her not to retire, but she insists it's time to step back. Peter arrives, and Lisa talks to Ralph before Peter says he'll wait for her at the restaurant to celebrate. At the restaurant, they discuss her designs, Peter's disapproval of the fashion designer and Ralph, and he mentions the restaurant's exceptional fish. Lisa frequently travels to Milan for business with a shoe store. During a conversation, she asks, "Have you ever thought about being with another woman?" He replies, "No, I've spent over half my life with you and have never wanted anyone else." Responds, "I love you deeply. If I didn't, I would have left long ago." Days later, Lisa tells him about her trip to Milan for client accounts and leaves. 9 months later, Peter is seen removing Lisa's clothes from their home when Abigail visits and finds him doing so. He gives her the clothes, saying he doesn't want to see them again. She replies, "We share the same size, but I don't want them." Peter then discovers Lisa's phone and puts it in his desk drawer. Abigail hands him a note from Lisa that says Lake Como. That evening, Peter listens to a voice message on Lisa's phone from a man saying, "I miss you. I haven't heard from you in a while." Shocked, Peter never suspected Lisa's infidelity. He leaves the phone on her laptop and goes to bed, but can't sleep. He returns to the laptop, looking through family photos until he finds a password-protected file labeled Love. After several failed attempts to open it, he continues browsing and finds pictures of Lisa with Ralph from a recent fashion show, suggesting a close relationship. Lisa receives an unexpected email from Ralph, who reminisces about their past love and urges her to leave everything behind to rekindle their romance. The next morning, Peter confronts Ralph at the fashion house, asking if he was involved with Lisa. Ralph denies it, but claims he wished for a closer relationship, criticizing Peter's suitability for her. The fashion house owner reveals she knows Lisa has someone else, but it's not Ralph, and she doesn't know who it is. Peter tells his daughter about the email, but she dismisses his concerns, defending her mother. After she leaves, Peter sneaks out and messages Ralph, stating, "The woman you..." Peter then asks his secretary to book a flight and hotel in Milan. Upon arrival, he goes to Ralph's home but can't enter due to a locked gate. He waits until someone opens it and searches the mailboxes for Ralph's name but finds nothing. He then waits near the apartment until Ralph appears and discreetly follows him to a cafe, where he sees Ralph sitting in the chess section but doesn't approach. Meanwhile, Abigail grows worried and tries to call Peter, but he doesn't answer. The scene shifts to Peter in his hotel room, looking at photos of his wife with Ralph, noting her happiness with him. That night, Peter couldn't sleep due to racing thoughts. The next morning, he arrived early at the cafe and sat at Ralph's usual chess table. When Ralph arrived, he mentioned he always sat there, and Peter invited him for a game. As they played, they learned about each other. Ralph shared that his mother is English and his father Spanish, and he enjoys visiting London and New York. Peter received a message from Abigail asking how he was. He then asked Ralph about his travels in England. Ralph mentioned he had been to Cambridge, where he met a woman in Milan, a shoe designer who wore striking red shoes. He was captivated by her shoes and felt a connection as they talked. When Peter asked when this happened, Ralph said 12 years ago. Peter felt shocked but kept his composure and asked when Ralph last saw her. Ralph replied, 9 months ago, but I believe I'll see her again soon. Meanwhile, Abigail and her husband checked on Peter at his home but found him gone. Abigail listened to Ralph's message on her mother's phone, feeling shocked as it contradicted her father's claims. The next day, Peter and Ralph met again for chess, and Peter asked if she often visited Milan. Ralph confirmed this and shared a memory of them together at a shoe store. He danced with her in front of the factory workers, bringing her immense joy. After their dance, the employees applauded. That evening, they ran through the rain together. Peter remembers when Lisa returned from Milan, smiling and saying how much she missed him, which made him happy, believing the distance had strengthened her feelings for him, unaware of her infidelity. He recalls her last words at the restaurant the next morning. At a museum, Peter asks Ralph if he has ever married any of his partners. Ralph replies, "I don't believe in marriage. Why limit myself?" He mentions having a son from an affair whom he knows nothing about. Ralph then asks Peter if he is married, and Peter responds, "Yes, for 25 years. I love my wife, and we trust each other completely." Ralph remarks on the difficulty of long-term loyalty. The next day, at a cafe, they play chess, and Ralph confidently states he will win, but Peter surprises him with a victory. Suddenly, Ralph receives a call from Lisa's number, panicking and rushing out of the cafe with Peter following. It turns out Abigail called Ralph from her mother's phone, and she reacts upon hearing his voice. She concludes the call in silence, yet it reignites Ralph's hope of reuniting with Lisa the following day. Abigail visits her father's company to inquire about his whereabouts. Meanwhile, Ralph confides in Peter that the call he received the day before was from a shoe designer, whom he describes as the most beautiful woman in the world. He reflects on their relationship, realizing that she was the only one he ever truly loved. As he shares these memories, Peter becomes increasingly agitated, mistakenly believing that Ralph's reminiscence is due to his loss in a chess game, to which Ralph responds, "It's merely a game." At that moment, Ralph notices one of his creditors entering the cafe and hastily departs. Peter settles Ralph's debt with the creditor and pursues him, but Abigail intervenes, asking, "What brings you here?" She explains that she discovered her mother's connection to Ralph, called him, and recognized his voice. Peter responds, "I see him every day. I play chess with him and converse with him, and from his demeanor, I can tell he is a pitiful man." He then takes her to the hotel, shows her photographs of Ralph with her mother, and reads her the emails he sent. In a fit of frustration, he demands to know why he was not sufficient for her mother, leading her to seek solace in another man. He expresses a violent desire to harm Ralph and reveals that he had been impersonating Lisa in his correspondence with Ralph. Abigail is taken aback and implores him to abandon this course of action and return to London. When he refuses, she walks away. The following day, Peter visits Ralph's residence, and upon arrival, he hears a noise emanating from the janitor's room. He investigates and discovers Ralph dressed in tattered clothing within a ground-floor apartment. Peter realizes Ralph is the building's caretaker, but Ralph explains he only cares for a turtle he found. Peter notices a hammer and considers attacking Ralph, who is unaware. Ralph then hands Peter the turtle, commenting on its cuteness. Peter briefly takes the turtle but returns it and leaves. Back at the hotel, Peter's daughter tells him she's returning to London and urges him to forget everything and join her, but he refuses. He then emails Ralph, pretending to be Lisa, saying she'll meet him at a hotel by Lake Co on Friday at 8 p.m. Ralph is thrilled and invites Peter to dinner the next day. Peter borrows keys to an apartment Ralph manages, knowing the owners are away, and visits it before meeting Ralph. When he arrives, Ralph calls him to come up. Peter goes, aware it's not Ralph's real apartment. Ralph mentions his meeting with Lisa and asks for money, which Peter gives him. Ralph starts packing for a hotel suite for Friday. When the time comes, Ralph leaves his hotel room and is surprised to find Peter waiting for him at the restaurant. Peter tells Ralph that he was married to Lisa, who died of cancer 9 months ago. We flash back to when Peter learned of her illness. The doctor reveals Lisa had known for a while and refused treatment, leaving no hope for recovery. When Peter asks why, the doctor explains she didn't want to suffer disfigurement. Back in the present, Ralph tells Peter Lisa made the right choice, as treatment would have required amputating part of her body. Peter angrily questions the importance of that part if it could have saved her life. We flash back to a moment when Lisa expresses happiness in their marriage. Peter encourages her to choose a special place, giving her paper to write it down, but she struggles. The next day, she writes Lake Como and asks their daughter to give it to Peter after she passes. As Lisa's health worsens, Peter and Abigail take turns caring for her. In the present, Ralph asks how Peter found out about his affair with Lisa. Peter reveals he discovered photos labeled Love on her laptop. When Ralph asks if he read the messages, Peter confirms he did, saying, "I was the one responding to you at the end." Ralph admits, "I won't deny my failures, but I made your wife feel a love she never had with you. You may have gotten your revenge, but I shared beautiful moments with her. She loved me, and I appreciate your financial support. You purchased this suit for me and arranged accommodations at an upscale hotel. Naturally, I am aware that I will never be able to repay you." At that moment, Peter departs, leaving him behind. We return once more to the scene of Lisa's passing, where she lies in bed with Peter and Abigail by her side, both of whom succumb to their sorrow. Fast forward to the present, Peter returns to his residence in Cambridge. After a period of time, he contacts his daughter to arrange a meeting in London. The following day, he travels to London upon discovering that Ralph is present there. He visits the pub that Ralph used to frequent and extends an invitation for dinner, which Ralph accepts. The dinner is held in remembrance of Lisa, with Peter inviting the owner of the fashion house and all of Lisa's acquaintances. When Abigail arrives, she overhears her father introducing Ralph to the guests, stating, "This is my wife's friend, and I am here tonight to commemorate my beloved Lisa." At that moment, his daughter approaches to stand beside him, visibly proud of her father. In the concluding scene, we find Peter and his daughter at the train station, awaiting the train that will return them to Cambridge. He remarks to her, "Ralph is a despicable man. He is unworthy of our vengeance." Thus, the film reaches its conclusion.